All right, so we're going to start talking about inequalities, and it's really the only thing that we have left to talk about before the CQA. The nice part of this is solving an inequality is almost exactly like solving an equation. So there's really not going to be new information that I throw at you. The only difference we'll talk about tomorrow when we're solving is when you're multiplying and dividing by a negative, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Today, I'm just going to go over the basics, okay? And again, I bet you've seen most of these things before. So when we're talking about an inequality and inequality signs, we're not talking about an equal sign anymore. We're talking about these four signs. Greater than or equal to, less than, and less than or equal to. So if I said that x is less than -7, and I asked you to write an inequality that showed that, then you would use your variable, you would use the number that's given, and then you would be very careful about the words that they use to pick out the right inequality symbol. The less than symbol would be this one. Okay? So writing an inequality, that's how you would do it. So again, you had to be careful of the wording. If I said greater than, think about in your head which one would be greater than. This one, right? Greater than, okay? If I said less than or equal to, x is less than or equal to -7. Yes. All right, so just read it carefully and you will be fine. And again, that is writing the inequality. The next thing that you'll see on the assignment is you'll be given an inequality, and you'll be given three values. If I said A is 1, B is 2, and C is -2. And what I want to know is which of those three values would, if I put it into the inequality, would make it true. Okay? So let me show you what I mean. Let's do the first one. 1. If I were to replace the variable with a 1, that would be 2 times 1 plus 1. Is that greater than -3? Yes, because it's 4, right? 2 times 1 is... sorry. Here I am trying to hurry. Sorry. 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. 3 is greater than -3. So, yes. A is yes. Then you would do B, which is a completely separate thing from A. Don't worry about A anymore. You'd substitute in the M, the 2 for M. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1. So 5 is greater than -3. Yes. So far A works, B works. Let's check C. -2. 2 times -2 is -4, and -4 plus 1 is... So is -3 greater than -3? No. That's right. They don't have that equal to part there. So you would check each one separately. Now, I don't need to see that you substitute in, but I do want to see this part down here. Okay, like what I wrote in green and orange. So you need to show me that. Does that make sense? Okay, let's talk about graphing. Do you remember graphing inequalities? Wonderful. Good. Let's say that you wanted to graph M is M is less than 1. You're interrupting me right now, which is going to affect my time. So if I wanted to graph M is less than 1, then I would make a number line. You do not need to put 10 numbers on the number line. The only one you really need is 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and put one smaller and one bigger on it, but you don't need to put tons of numbers on there. When you have the symbol less than, that means it doesn't include the 1. So to show that it doesn't include the 1, we put a circle at the 1 because it doesn't include the 1. And then the easiest thing is to shade the direction that this goes. Do you see how this symbol matches this arrow? That shows you which way to shade. Because if you were to replace the 0 with the M, 0 is less than 1, so that makes sense. So you're shading everything over to the left of that circle. Now yes. Yes. So let's say we have M is less than or equal to -2. So do our number line. We need -2 on there. Might be a good idea to put one smaller and one bigger. Just got to give you a reference point. Now, when you have this equal sign underneath your alligator mouth, some people like to call it, then that means it does include the -2. So when it does include it, you're going to color in that circle. People call these closed circles and open circles. Closed and open. So closed is going to be if it's equal to, if it can be equal to, and open is going to be when it can't be equal to. But again, shading this way. So there's the other two examples, okay? I know you know what they are, but I wanted to show you. Now you need to be very careful. If you have an inequality that has the variable on the right instead, that is really the only thing that you kind of have to watch out for. For instance, if it was -5 is greater than m, my advice is to rewrite this. Make your m be on the left and your -5 be on the right. But this is what you have to be careful about. Just like I called this an alligator mouth, if the alligator is eating -5, it still needs to eat -5 over here. Okay? So we can't change that part of it. We can flip-flop the sides, but make sure you flip-flop your sign. Okay? Okay, I'm done. 259.